If you've been following me for a while, you know I talk a lot about weight loss on here. Tracking macros, making macro-friendly recipes, eating foods that are higher in protein, lower in calories, etc. But today, we're going to talk about gaining weight on purpose. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Amanda, aka FitFoodAE, and today we're going to talk all about bulking. I asked you guys on Instagram what you wanted to know about this topic, and you delivered with the questions. So we're going to be covering all the things. What it means to go into a bulk, when you should start a bulk, who should be bulking, etc. And because I went through a bulk around 2 years ago now, I get to share my personal experience throughout the video. So if you're excited to hear me speak about this topic, please give this video a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, as it really helps the channel, and I post new videos every week. By the way, guys, I got a new microphone. Do you like the way it sounds? Also, I just realized I'm wearing this giant sweater, which is kind of fitting for the bulking video, but yeah, it's really rainy and gloomy outside. And with that, let's get started. So what does it mean to go into a bulk? Bulking means increasing the number of calories that you're eating, combined with consistently weight training and applying progressive overload. And of course, progressive overload means increasing the number of weights, sets, and reps on your exercises each week. But bulking doesn't mean that you can just eat whatever you want, however many number of calories you want in the form of junk food. No, it's a bit more complicated than that. Yes, bulking can still be more fun and relaxed than being in a deficit, but you have to be smart about it. We're gonna get more into that later on. So why on earth would you wanna purposely gain weight, you ask? And how do you know if you're a good candidate to start a bulk? So the first factor would be your goals. Typically, the goal of a bulk is to increase your muscles, otherwise known as muscle hypertrophy, and get stronger. Maybe more specifically, you want to grow a big butt. If that's currently your main goal, then bulking could be a great idea. For example, let's say you went through a weight loss journey and then you reversed your way back up to maintenance, and now you've decided you want to grow. So bulking would be a great next step. If you're currently on a weight loss journey, you're going to want to wait until you reach your goal weight and then reverse your way back up to maintenance before you start a bulk, as I mentioned before. And if you're currently under eating, then it's best to go through a reverse diet and get your metabolism up to where it needs to be before you go into a bulk. By the way, if this is all sounding like gibberish to you, I would highly recommend taking a look at the video on reverse dieting that I posted recently. I'm going to post a link on the screen. So I personally decided to start my bulk towards the end of November 2021, which was after I went through my reverse diet. So the second factor is your commitment to the process, because yes, it is a process. You have to be mentally prepared to gain body fat. Yes, you're gonna see muscle growth and gains in the places that you want them to be, but just like the same way you can't spot reduced fat, you can't spot gain muscle, if that makes sense. So along with your glutes and your biceps growing, you also are probably going to gain fat in your midsection, and that might be hard to accept, at least it was for me. But luckily, I just happened to do my bulk during that whole Omicron episode that happened in Ontario, which was winter of 2021/2022. So I wasn't really doing any social stuff anyway, and I was kind of able to hide under sweaters when I did leave the house. So that was just a lucky coincidence for me. You have to be committed to weight training consistently, because if you're just increasing your calories without consistently working out, you're just going to gain body fat and not muscle. Of course, you could still take rest days, and even if you miss a few days here and there due to sickness or injury, that's totally fine. But consistency is key, and you're going to be the strongest that you'll ever be during your bulk, at least I was. So take advantage of this, lift heavy, and apply progressive overload. I would highly recommend getting access to a gym during this phase of your journey, unless you have like a really stacked home gym. It's just going to be hard doing a bulk with minimal equipment, because it's going to be way harder to apply progressive overload. You also have to be committed to tracking your macros using an app like MyFitnessPal. Again, of course, it's fine to take days off, but you're going to see the best progress if you track versus choosing not to track. For me personally, I had reached a point where I was mentally okay with gaining some weight, but it took me a really long point in my fitness journey to get to that place mentally. If you do think that gaining excess body fat is going to affect your mental health, I would highly recommend scheduling your bulk in the winter time, or just during a time where you think you're not going to have as many social plans or vacations, or you don't have to rock a bikini. But again, this is totally optional. Gaining a little bit of weight is totally fine, and you can bulk at any point of the year. So if you've reached a point in your fitness journey where your goal is to gain muscle, you're okay with gaining a little bit of body fat, and you're committed to working out and tracking your food consistently, then you're ready to start a bulk. So how do you go about starting said bulk? Take your maintenance calories and multiply them between anywhere from 1.1 to 1.2 because you're supposed to increase your calories by 10 to 20%. As a general rule of thumb, multiply your maintenance calories by 1.2 if you're doing a shorter bulk, like 8 to 10 weeks. But if you're doing a longer bulk, like 12 plus weeks, then you can just add 10% to your maintenance calories. It also depends on your tolerance to weight gain. Like if you're not really worried about gaining a bit of body fat, then you can add 20% no matter what. So for example, my maintenance calories before my bulk were around 2250. So I multiplied that by 1.2 and I got around 2,700 calories, which was a lot of food. Now, similar to reverse dieting, you don't want to jump right to that number. Instead, you want to slowly increase by 50 to 100 calories each week until you reach that high number. This will minimize the weight gain. Whether you add 50 to 100 each week kind of depends again on your tolerance to weight gain, how long your bulk is, etc. Also like just how you're feeling in general. So for me, I started off by adding 50 each week, and then as I got more comfortable, I added 100 each week. Now, how about the macros? Well, the general rule of thumb is to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and then just increase those calories in the form of carbs in order to fuel your muscle growth. However, it can get kind of tricky to hit your exact protein, carbs, fats in a week. So what I did is I made sure to hit my protein goal and then just eat carb-heavy snacks in order to roughly hit the macro numbers that I had. However, if you are the kind of person that wants to track the exact macros more closely, then you can add between 12 to 25 grams of carbs per week. For your workouts, make sure to follow a strength training program and apply progressive overload. Since your goal during this process is to gain muscle, you're gonna have to focus on strength training 5 to 6 times per week. So when I was bulking, I personally followed a split that was 2 push days, 2 pull days, and 2 leg days. So a total of 6 days at the gym per week, which is different from the hybrid kind of schedule I have now. Now I'm only going to weight train 4 times a week, and then I'm doing cardio, so like workout classes or a hike the other 2 days a week. This is because my goals have changed and I'm no longer doing a bulk, I'm just maintaining. Make sure that week by week you're applying progressive overload. I feel like I've said that phrase so many times. So increasing either weights, reps, sets, or a combination of those 3 each week. When you increase your calories, you'll notice that you're gonna be able to lift a lot heavier, maybe even heavier than you ever have before. So you should take advantage of this strength in order to build up your compound lifts. Of course, you're not gonna be able to increase your weight every week. Some weeks you might just be increasing the number of reps or even the sets, which is totally fine. I would highly recommend using your phone notes or an app in order to track this. And I would also recommend taking progress pictures and measurements because progress isn't just measured on the scale. The progress pictures are great because then you have a visual representation of your gains. So how do you know when to stop the bulk? Well, typically you're going in with a plan and the bulk is gonna last between 8 to 12 weeks. Again, the length of time in the bulk can depend on many different factors. If you like the way you look after the bulk, you don't need to go into a cut afterwards. However, a lot of people go into a bulk with the intention of going into a cutting phase after that. I made sure to time my bulk so that I had time to go back into maintenance and then cut before the summer. But if you're not really on a strict timeline and you want to see more growth, you could always bulk for longer than 12 weeks. One thing that I want to note is that you don't jump straight from a bulk into a cut. Rather, you have to reverse diet back down into maintenance, stay in maintenance for around 4 weeks or so, and then after that, you can go into your cut. Yes, it's a long process, but it's so worth it. Now, that was already a lot of info, but I do have some more tips and best practices to ensure that this bulk is the best that it could possibly be for you guys. Now, believe it or not, a lot of people struggle with eating the amount of calories that they're supposed to be eating on a bulk, and they feel like they're stuffing their face with food way past the point of being full. It's very normal to feel that way, and some days it is gonna feel that way. I know it did for me, and I thought that I was gonna have a super easy time on this bulk. I would suggest adding low volume, calorie dense foods to your diet like avocado or peanut butter. Don't buy the diet versions of things. For example, buy the regular size flour tortillas versus the carb smart lower calorie tortillas. Start eating earlier in the day and later at night. And if you need to, put reminders on your phone to eat meals and snacks. Don't be afraid to add more fun foods to your diet, like Pop-Tarts, for example. I used to eat those on my bulk and now I kind of miss it just thinking about it. Maybe I'll go buy some next grocery trip just for the memes. Another good thing is that if you go out to eat, like to a restaurant, you don't have to be as meticulous about tracking like you are with cutting, and you can kind of eat higher calorie foods and treat yourself more. But that being said, it's important to stay with the 10 to 20% increase and not go completely off the rails, because if you do that, then when it's time to start your cut, you're kind of going to be in a tough spot. During your bulk, as I said before, you're going to see gains where you want to see them, but you're also going to see gains where you don't necessarily want them. For me, it was tough seeing weight gain in my midsection and having some clothes not fit me as well as they did before. I would highly suggest just staying focused on your goal and knowing that it'll pay off once you cut and you see the muscle gain. Again, take progress pictures so you can see the progress that you're making and focus on the positives. If it makes you feel more comfortable when you go to the gym, just wear like a baggy t-shirt rather than a sports bra and shorts, and wear sweaters when you go out. But again, a little bit of weight gain is totally fine. No one's gonna notice it except you, and you're still gonna be gorgeous no matter what. And of course, just like with any other fitness goal, things don't have to be perfect 100% of the time. Some days you won't eat enough, and other days you might even eat too much. You might have to take an extra rest day here or there because you're too hungover, or you might have to take off 5 days in a row because you got injured. That happened to me during my bulk. It was super annoying. But yeah, in general, you can typically be more lax during a bulk than you are during a cut, which is great. And that's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you found this content to be informative. Please comment below with any follow-up questions that you have, and I'll be sure to answer them. Also, feel free to comment below and let me know which topics you want covered next. And please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, as it really helps the channel, and I post new videos every week. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.